Huh. Wow, that works. Huh, I'm hanging it on a lamp. I bought a fancy thing, which doesn't work. Oh, Jesus. Don't get suckered into this, because this part isn't big enough. It barely expands enough, and it's hard to expand, and it's hard to get it in there. It looks fun, doesn't it? I don't know. Whatever. So today what we're doing is some Petoskeys, Michigan State Stone. I'm about to put on my other glove. These are necessary. It's very cold out. I have my little heater on. Starting to feel it a little. But the weather's pretty damp because we've been thawing. Stuff's melting and there's runoff on the porch, which sucks, but it's something we're working on. So what we did is emptied both vibes that have Petoskeys in them and sorted out which ones were ready for stage 2. And I have a few I can show you. So that one's ready. It's nice and smooth. Petoskeys come in many colors, or shades I should say. This is a very light one. And it also has the other pattern on it, kind of on the other side. Here's an interesting one that has Petoskey on one side and fossil soup on the other. We call it fossil soup when there's a bunch of different little fossils in it. That's a heart-shaped one. This one's pretty perfect for a pendant. Isn't that nice? And there's more, but I'll show them later. What I came out to do is empty the tumbler that has the Petoskeys that weren't ready and check those. I only have a couple of tubs, so I'm thinking I'll combine what I have into one tub. I decided to split up the Petoskeys, and I have some that are black, and there's also a black other fossil I'm doing too. But you see the matrix is black, so that's a different hardness than the other matrix that you find. Here's a nice one. And then you see the black. So I'm gonna shove them to the side, I guess, and then dump my other ones in. And then I will have a bucket to rinse in. That's the theory. So here we go. We will dump. Nope, I gotta scoop them out somehow. How about using this? There. Probably not the best item to use because it might absorb grit. Here we go. We're emptying the one tub into the other tub, and I just use these. These are, gosh, I think I got them on Walmart.com. They equated to about $1 something a box, or maybe, I can't remember, but it was a good deal. All right, move that over. Now, let's see what we did with the Petoskeys for another day in stage 1. And I do things a little differently. A lot of people rinse, and I do too. And I use this mesh bag for stage 1. I have a lot of little rocks. It's actually a laundry bag. And I even have a smaller one I can't find right now. So I'm resorting to this huge one. And I put my tumbler inside it. And then I turn it over. Well, I shake it first to get all the grit, hopefully, towards the surface. And then I dump it in the container. Yep. And then dump it out. I was saving the grit to be able to use again in stage 1 because the Petoskeys don't need that much time in it. So the grit isn't getting all worn down. And I think that's what my brain was just doing, which was unnecessary because I already did that. But let's show you the grit water. So this is grit water. I'm going to show it better in a second here. See if I can get it up here. Yeah, okay, you can see that it's grayish brown, and that's rock matter and grit. Gosh, I could save this. This is a lot. I'm going to try. Where's my... Is it? Okay. Maybe I'll put it in here. I got a place. These are useful. Okay, so I'm going to put stage 1 grit in that and reuse it on maybe have to remember to put it somewhere where the dogs won't drink it. That's always interesting to think about. All right, then we're gonna pour some water in a pitcher that I have. We're gonna rinse that bucket out and the rocks. So first we'll take a little and put it in the bucket, rinse it off, and dump it in my, I have kitty litter tubs here that I use as a sink, and then they sit inside something John used to, what did he do with it? Make cement? I don't know. You have to look inside in the winter because sometimes all the grit is still at the bottom because it's cold out. And yeah, that's gonna go. I'm gonna take a little bit of water and put that in there. Dislodge it a little, shake it up, and pour it in that container I'm saving the water in. Oh, that was not a good seal. Alright, there we go. Put that in. And then since we are going to be moving on to stage 2, I'm going to obsessively rinse this barrel. You have to. You cannot let any grit from one stage pass into another stage. So what I'm doing is filling this, shaking it, and dumping it in with the stones that I just took out of it. A little side note, don't do what I did and rinse off your rocks in the sink when you get home from rock hunting. I knew about not letting grit go down the sink, but my little pea brain did not include that sand might also jam up your pipes. I'm lucky I have copper pipes, but they may, I don't know, I stopped doing it, but I think I've been rock hunting now for 6 years, and I just stopped rinsing them off in the sink, so I'm a little worried. So don't do that. Always rinse stuff off in a bucket and dump it. Alright, so I'm stirring my Petoskies before I look at them. Gently. And then I think I'll pour that water out into my extra bucket. I keep these as a way to get rid of water. They're very useful. So I'm going to tip the edge of this, and it will make kind of a funnel and go in there. Hopefully not spilling too much on the ground, but I do have a little rug under me that catches some water. Ooh, there's a lot of grit in there still. Wow. These are going to have to be rinsed in the colander. Yep. But first what we'll do is look at them and see if they're ready for stage 2. If they're not, they're going to be set aside because I have a whole bunch ready. This one looks ready, but if you look on the back, it has a lot of holes that can catch grit. I may end up using a toothbrush on this. I think I will to pass it on to the next stage, but let's see. Yeah, it's working. It's getting the grit off out of the holes. Yeah. So that'll go. And so this is going to get tossed into the other, what do I call them? Bucket. This one's pretty neat. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. That one's almost ready. I'm going to call it ready and hope for the best. That's a black one. Here's another black one. This is a beautiful round. That'll be a can of clip. Probably. Too big for jewelry. It's nice and smooth. A little misshapen one. Checking the grit there. Yeah, that's good. So this is what you do. And, excuse me, my voice broke. You have to look at them every stage and determine if they're ready for the next stage. And how do you do that? Well, you see if they're smooth. If they're not smooth enough, they're not ready, basically. You're not really supposed to let them dry out in between stages. So that's not really a way to check them. I'm putting some in that might not be ready, but I think will be okay. I don't know. There's a lot in here that aren't. Maybe I'll save those for another load. Yeah, probably. Huh. Yeah, there's a lot. These were from my rough Petoskeys that I've already tumbled once. And they are, oh, here's that one. This one I ain't gonna call done because even though on the one side it's got holes, holes go in, those are holes. Look at this other side. Oh wait, is that the right way? Look at that, isn't that pretty? I love that, that's beautiful. This one, yeah, no, maybe. Here's a Petoskey that might be ready on one side. Petoskey, or they're also called Charlevoix stones. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta think about that. These are not done, darn it. But I have enough done that I think we will move on in the interest of time, because what my purpose here is, well, is to make jewelry pieces, but I've also got a three-way trade going on. I got a few Petoskeys from a nice woman, and I made her a lapis necklace. And I'm going to use one of those as a trade with a friend of mine who's going to give me some Botswana agate slices and some other really interesting rock that is turquoise and brown. I don't know what it is. I don't remember. So, yeah, let's see. That's a heart. This one I think I'll keep going into the next stage. It's a little heart Petoskey. It's not quite done, but I don't want it to get ground away. Pretty much they're already yeah, I've seen them all, I think. So what I want to do is keep these wet until I decide to tumble them more, because you don't want to let them dry out in between stages. So I'll put some water in here. That doesn't matter if it's hot or cold. I'll use the cold water. Oh good, that's got a little soap in it. And that reminds me, what we have to actually do before we put them in the next stage is they have to vibrate in soap to get all the grit off. Because even rinsing it real well using a toothbrush, you'd be amazed at how much grit stays with the stones. So what are we doing? We're going to move these somewhere temporarily. Using this to cover it so the bugs don't get out of it. And then I think this got rinsed out enough, so we're going to put some warm water in. That's what I use to rinse the soap, is some warm water. Not too hot, because I don't want to crack the stones, because it is cold out. It's Michigan. Let's see. Loading them is challenging. I'm trying to think of what I've done in the past. Well, you can see it. I don't know what I can figure that out right now. Hang on. I can't. Can I do this? Okay, so I had to think for a minute. And that's always a good thing, right? So when I took the two tumblers out to check the stones, because they were in two vibe tumblers, I sorted them and made one load to rerun. I had to put other rocks on the other side of the double vibe in order to balance it. So I have a load of granite in that still that needs to be all rinsed off and then stored as something that can go to stage 2 eventually. Yeah, rock tumbling can be very persnickety. For this, I'm going to do a dirty wash and not worry if anything slips through the cracks. And put it on top of my kitty litter bucket. And I'm not going to try to save grit, I don't think, because I'm tired and I don't want this to go on forever. Maybe I will. I don't know. Let me see how much is in there. I could probably save it. I'd probably save the whole load, really. Maybe that's what I'll do. If I can. Yep. Huh, okay. Let's see if I can open that without dropping everything. I love these little plastic containers you get stuff in from the grocery store. They work well for a lot of stuff with rock tumbling. Alright, here we go. You're going to dump. That's not going to dump, is it? Wow. Come on. Okay, there. I'm going to turn it upside down. Let's take that out. Here we go. Alright, here we go. Here goes. Oh, ooh-wee! That just was a mess. Fudge. Yeah, this is hard. Ain't working very well because it's a floppy container. These barrels are heavy. Oh, goodness. Okay, there. And we're just going to take that and set it over here. I'm not even going to look at them. There's no need. I know they're not done. But I will rinse a lot. I will rinse this a lot. Because you don't want any grit in our rinse stage. Oh, I could have saved that. Whoops. I'm thinking it. Alright, now. One more rinse. And more water. And then we'll put it in with soap, and that will get most of the rest of the grit out. Oh, these things are so gassy. Try to shake the water in it. The top bubbles up and it doesn't want to stay connected. Alright, so we got 2 tumblers ready. One with water in it and one without. We have a makeshift sink that we want to make sure the tumbler doesn't tip over when I'm loading it. I'm going to do hot water. Okay, put the water in. I do the water as cushioning for when I drop the rocks in. And I have one down here below me. I'll bring it up. And that way, I put a few in and then I grab some media, some ceramic. Yep, and then I put a few more in. And I just keep doing it in layers. So that the media is mixed throughout, because you really want to cushion these. These Petoskey's, I believe, are on a hardness scale of lowest is 3. It does vary, which is what makes it so interesting to do, because it varies. Alright, we got that one loaded. And then, where the heck is the rest of my media? I thought I had more out here. Huh. I don't. Shoot, might have to go inside. Because I definitely don't have enough media. Or maybe I do. Oh, it was hidden. Here we go. Dropping them in. Dropping them in. And then put in the media. Oops, I lost one. This is kind of boring because all you see is the top of my head, but it just takes patience to do. Because it's kind of hard to pick up little stones and stick them in a hole, you know? You tried that before at the beach, right? I lost one overboard. It went flying. I'm gonna have to get it. There we go. There we go. That in. Done. And more. Okay. Is that enough? I don't know. Let's dump that water out. Water's going, and then we'll dump the rest of these in. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now, we're not putting any grit in this. We're putting soap in it. And I just use liquid soap that we had. It's palm olive, and I put a couple drops in. Just a couple. And this soap is pretty much frozen-ish. So, I don't know what just went in there. I might have an awful mess on me later. We'll see. And then we're going to put them in for a rinse. And how long do you rinse for? Well, some people go a day. Some people do it for a few hours. It's just up to you, really. And then I've seen people do it twice. if the rocks are really, you'll see when it comes out. The water is not going to be clear. It will be rock water. So you'll be glad you did that in between stages. So that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later when I take them out.
Here's the double vibes in case you don't know what a double vibe is. These tumblers jiggle back and forth. That is why they are on bricks that are glued together, and the whole thing's glued to the bricks so that it doesn't vibrate in the house or the porch. But it still does vibrate quite a bit. And but I don't hear it, and I don't think the neighbors do. That's the lamp I hung my phone on. I think it needs to be glued, or I just need to take that off.